In studio this morning with me is Assistant Commissioner of Immigration, Francis Pamdetti. He's Acting Director of Corporate Affairs at the National Identification Authority. We're talking Ghana card. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
I hope you're well.
Nice to hear some well.
All right. So I'm very well, thank you. The Ghana card, we know that you're in Parliament registering parliamentarians. Is the process over?
No, we'll be doing that for the next 10 days. And so our officers are there registering parliamentarians and then the staff of Parliament.
It is a fact that the minority in Parliament say they are not registering. Is that a concern to the National Identification Authority? Will there be another exclusive opportunity for those who have decided not to register to do so later on?
Yes. Even though we are dealing with sectors of the population, we think that the Jubilee House, Parliament, the Judicial Service are significant arms of government. And we wanted to make sure that we covered them before we moved into other sectors of our society. If I believe and I hope that before we leave Parliament they register. If it turns out that they are unable to register and they change their mind, I believe we can make some arrangements for them because our devices are mobile. We can always arrange a mobile station for them to have them registered.
Again in Parliament?
We hope so. But I'm believing that this issue will be resolved before.
For how long are you
10
still?
days. We'll 10 be there for 10
okay.
days, yes.
All right. So when would the rest of us, because these are special categories of people, when would everybody else get the opportunity to have a Ghana card?
We are looking at selected institutions, the banks, the education institutions. The reason why we're doing that is to populate the database with persons who have registered, because the vouching for process requires that whoever is vouching for anybody must have registered. Once we are done with these selected institutions, we will now move into the wider general public. So let's see, somewhere, hopefully by end of July, we should be heading for the general public. Once we are done, we'll be in Accra for 3 months. After that, we'll move to the Volta region, we'll move to the Northern region, Upper East, Upper West, Brown Hafo, Western, Ashanti, Eastern, and Central region. In all other regions, we'll be doing 1 month. But Greater Accra is 3 months, Ashanti is 2 months because of the population size.
Okay. Let's run through what somebody would require before they can get a Ghana card.
Okay, the law makes provision for. Now, let me just explain that we have what we call the National Identity Register, which is supposed to be an electronic register. That register has to be populated with personal information, and the law tells us the information we should have in that register. So it talks about your name, your date of birth, if you had a previous name, it's indicated, your height, your personal details. Then moves to your employment, whether you're disabled. It also looks at your parentage, names of parents, where they come from, your next of kin, if you're married, names of your spouse. It goes on to ask you about phone numbers, languages you speak. And then there's a category that deals with institutional IDs. Now, these institutions are SNIT, DVLA, SNIT, passports, voter ID card, and then the TIN number. The reason why these category of institutions have been listed is because the concept of the Ghana card or the national ID was built to have these institutions integrate and harmonize their data with the NIA. So the process of harmonization will require that we pick some information on the cards they issue. So you will take if for instance you have a SNIT card, we'll take the SNIT number and the date of issue, we'll scan the card and then give it back to you. So when we get to the stage of integration, it will be easy to harmonize the databases.
But I cannot use that SNIT card of mine as a form of identity.
No, so
for me to get the registration done.
I just explained the personal information required in the register. Now, the documents or the registration requirements are a birth certificate, a valid passport, residence permit, or a certificate of acquired citizenship, which, if you've naturalized, you'll be given a certificate. So that certificate you can bring forward. If you don't have any of these documents, you need a relative who's already registered vouch for you, just to attest that indeed they know you, you don't have the documents, and who you claim to be is indeed who you are. If you don't have a relative to do that, you need two persons who have already registered to do that for you. Now, this is not novel to NIA's law. Ghana appreciates the fact that quite a number of people may not have documentation that is listed as a requirement. So the vouching for process is put there to cater for people like that. When you take the EC law.
But before you go there, why have we restricted ourselves to these, you need a passport or a birth certificate?
That's the position.
Because the permits, it's not for us Ghanaians.
No, because the law covers both Ghanaians and foreigners.
Yeah, so that's why my question is limited to why are you limiting us to birth certificates and passports?
We're not limiting you to just birth certificate and passports. There's also a certificate of acquired citizenship. They're also Ghanaians, and that's the document they bring forward.
Yeah, I get that. But I think largely the concerns have been, I don't have, what if I don't have a birth certificate? And most people don't have passports.
You see, we are a creature of statute. The National Identification Authority has been established by law. And we can't be seen to be flouting the laws that govern our operations. So we want to ensure that the laws that have been passed and are supposed to govern our operations are strictly adhered to by the organization. Now, the law is telling us something. That law was passed by the Parliament of Ghana. We can't be seen to be going contrary to the law. So as long as that law remains, we would have to enforce it. I hear people say that, or parliamentarians make the case that they may have made a mistake or an error, or it's not for us, the beneficiaries of the end product of what they have done, to try to make a correction or to amend a law. It's not in our power to do that. So
it's just the law that gives these requirements.
Yes.
Okay. But I think what's interesting is the fact that Parliament itself passed this, and now we're having to have issues. That would be another conversation altogether. Did they know that this was what was contained in that document when they were passing it? But here we are today with this. But you're saying that if you don't have these two requirements, you can bring people to guarantee.
Yes.
So let's talk about that.
Yes. So when you appear, before you appear, it's important for you to have an idea of what the documents or what you be expected to provide. In the next few days, we'll have some commercials and some public awareness creation materials and stuff out there to educate the general public. Because we haven't gotten into the general public, you may not be seeing a lot of that. We also don't want to overstretch ourselves in terms of communication. But institutions we are dealing with at the moment have the information we require from them. It's been communicated to them. But with vouching for, you need a relative. The relative must come and satisfy us that indeed he or she is a relative. If we are not convinced or we are not comfortable or sure about this guarantee, the registration officer or any other person who has any suspicions can challenge the process. The challenge process requires that you tell the registration officer, I don't think this person qualifies to be registered into this, to be issued with this card, and so please look at it. A form will be given to you to fill. Whoever has been challenged would also fill the form, and where it requires that you prove who you are, you need to send a copy of the form to your chief in your village, and then where you live, the assemblyman also has a form. It also helps with the adjudication process. They have to attest whether they know you. The chief has to attest that they know you and agree to.
How many of us even know our chiefs? Where we come from?
You see, the national ID is a serious matter. Just as we place premium on obtaining visas to travel to other countries for 3 months and for 2 weeks, and we sit down and patiently fill forms without complaining, I think that the national ID card is a very important document for this country, and we should go through the fatigue of filling the forms, providing what we need, and we get it. Once you have it, it remains yours. The PIN number doesn't change. It's yours from whichever period you had it till you pass on.
How about the information that we gave when we're registering for the national ID card in the past?
You know, in the past, the information obtained in the past cannot deal with the issues of today. So, for instance, in the past, just 4 fingerprints were taken. I mean, now, ICAO standards require that 10 fingerprints are taken to enable one identify somebody properly. The facial iris is taken. So it's a higher grade of biometrics that are taken to ensure that persons who claim to be who they are actually who they are. The next is, we do not have more emails. At the time we did it, there was no provision for emails or phone numbers. And so we have to make provision for that. Now we have a digital address, which would help us locate people's residences. That's also incorporated. So even if you were issued with the Ghana card previously, when you show up, your details are captured. There's something called the deduplication process. It will check whether your data is already in the system. If it checks and there's a hit, there are 2 things. One, is this person attempting to register the second time? Or is this person somebody who is legitimating in our system for which we have to just update the record?
Can I just ask you, so are you using the same old data? Or the question I'm asking is, do you still have the data as we gave you then when we're registering for the ID?
Yes, that data is in the system. Some we don't have in the system. Some we do, especially for those who were issued with a card. Cards, a little over 1 million were issued. So those who have the card have their data in the system. So once you bring the card and the information pops up, the fields that are left to be filled will just be filled. And then that old card is taken from you and you're given a new one.
Okay, but you're still saying irrespective of that, you still would only identify me even though I have the old national ID card.
I must add that
I still need my passport or my birth certificates.
I missed that part. I should have clarified. Those who have the national ID card issued by the authority will be, that card alone suffices. You don't need to bring a birth certificate or what do you call it, or a passport.
Okay.
That card alone is enough.
So your old national ID
is accepted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that clarifies a lot.
Yes, that's accepted. Now, I was talking about the deduplication process. So where the issue about you registering here, obtaining a card, and maybe going somewhere else to go and register and obtain a card, is not possible. Because at every registration site, once details are put in the system, it bounces off the central site, checks whether your information is in that site. If it is there, it will go to adjudication. Adjudication is not an open adjudication. They will check what's the status. This person is trying to register again. You'll be arrested. This person has this information and data. We need to update it. Okay, they need to be updated. And then once your biometrics are taken, a slip will be given to you. Look at the slip, check whether the details captured are accurate, and then the card will be issued. Now, the card that is issued is not activated. So if you pick the card without the card being activated, it will not work. So you place your thumb on the reader. The reader identifies you, and the card is given to you, and the card is activated. And then you leave. The reason why this card is a card that we shouldn't, I heard somebody say, oh, it's just a common ID. It's not just a common ID. It is a very secure document, and it has value. One, it is ECOWAS compliant, and therefore every Ghanaian who received the card automatically has a passport to travel within the ECOWAS sub-region. You don't need a paper passport to travel within the sub-region. The ECOWAS protocol says that once you have the national ID card, which is the ECOWAS compliant ID card, you can travel within the West African sub-region without a visa or without a passport. That card also more or less gives you an automatic residence permit. I can go to any West African country. I don't have to apply for a residence permit and live there. Apart from that, the card has a 128K capacity left. It's actually 148, but 20 has been used for the operational systems. That 128 has 14 applets. 14 applets simply meaning that, let's say you have a very big house and you have 14 rooms in the house, and you are renting them. So if you come and take a space, you pay me a token. Now, these 14 outlets, as we speak, NHIA has decided that it would use one of the outlets and stop issuing cards so that it piggybacks on NIA's card. What it means is that NHIA will pay a token to NIA for each card they use, and it will be cheaper than if they had to produce the cards themselves. SNET is also doing the same. So the card you are holding is a card that would give you access to several services without necessarily pulling 3 cards.
Let me just activate the phone lines because I want to give about 5 minutes to my viewers to ask questions, and then we'll continue with that. So you can give me a call, a quick one, 0302-211-69102, 0302-211-69102. Let's get back to the other things you can use the card for. Yes. So what are you saying? Like, I would not need an NHIS card physically?
In the future, yes. You will not need an NHIS.
When you say the future? When?
Because we haven't populated the register. We have to populate the register with people and their information. So the more you have in the database, the more viable it is to go into that enterprise. So we have to first populate the register. That's why we do a mass registration. After mass registration, there's continuous registration. But the law says that you must first carry out a mass registration, and after that you do continuous registration. So for persons who are born after we are done with the mass registration, can go to our offices and have themselves registered. So that will continue till infinity. As we are speaking, we are yet to set up district offices, but we'll have mobile stations. We are working closely with GIFIC, Ghana Investment Fund. They deal with telecoms, and they have offices in all the districts in the country. We are working with them closely, and they have agreed to give us their offices to use in the interim. Okay. Before we build our
All right, let me go to the phone lines now. Jerry Danso is in Ordine. I'll come to you, Samuel. So, Jerry, good morning.
Good morning, Mama V. How are you?
Very well, thank you, Jerry. Please, let's hear you.
Good morning to the officer and to other listeners.
Good morning.
Please, I wanted to find out about this issue that my wife has a birth cert that I did for. And the information on the birth cert now, as it is not accurate. So we went to court to swear an affidavit to that effect. Now, it is this birth cert that I am supposed to use, which bears the name of a father that has now been identified to be not the real father, and also the name given by that father has been changed. How do I deal with this issue? I have the affidavit from court and have the old birth cert. Do I make an attempt to do a new birth cert with a new name, or how should I handle that situation? Because the Ghana card finally is going to have to bear the new name, which is now even on her SNET card and other issues. Please, if you could help me with that, I'll be very grateful.
Okay, let's speak to Samuel. Thank you, Jerry. Samuel Cole is in Obuase. Samuel, good morning.
Good morning, madam.
Yes, sir. Let's hear you.
You see, my problem is I don't see the problem people have. I don't see the problem people have. Why are you worried that you don't get a card if you are a genuine Ghanaian? I just don't understand it. You see, I don't know why the minority always fight for foreigners. You want to destroy this country because...
Okay, Samuel, I have to let you go, but we're not talking minority, majority on the show. We're talking about all of us as ordinary persons. So once you don't have an issue, I think that will be it. Thank you very much, Samuel Cole. Let's speak to Philip, and then we will come to Jerry's concerns. Philip, good morning. Hello, Philip. Okay, we're not getting Philip through, so... Hello, Philip?
Yeah, good morning. My name is Philip, calling from Tafari.
Okay, Philip, good morning. Let's hear you.
I have 2 suggestions to make about the Ghana card.
Please go ahead.
Yeah.
Philip, we're listening.
Yeah, what I want to ask is, after the registration, when you go to Google, can you identify yourself on Google?
Okay, number 2.
And then number 2 is,
hello, Philip?
Hello, and the second one is, do you know that all our card that we have in Ghana, especially the passport, the foreigners too, they have our passport.
When you say the foreigners too, they have our passport, what do you mean?
Yeah, especially the Ghana passport. Some Nigerians have a Ghana passport, some Togolese have a Ghana passport.
On what basis are you standing to say what you're saying? What's your proof?
Because I've been traveling with some of them,
okay.
And they have it.
All right, so let's leave it here, Philip. You're making an assumption, but thank you very much. We'll see how the officer can address your concerns. Kwesi, your voice in Techiman. Kwesi?
Hello.
Hello, sir. Good morning. You're on air. Let's hear you.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Kwesi Yeboah. You're on air. Please go ahead.
Jesse Yeboah, please. Jesse Yeboah.
Oh, Jesse Yeboah. Apologies.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, I happen to have a name which does not appear on any, either my birth cert or my passport. And I don't know how people with these problems will have to include their names they don't have on any of their identification. For instance, I am Kingsford, but on most of my certificates and my passport, like I was saying, and my birth cert have the name Kingsford on them. And I give up to have this national ID.
Jesse, I think the line is going bad, but I'm sure I get the question that you're putting through. So thank you very much. We will make an attempt. So over to you. Jerry asking about the name on the birth certificates not corresponding.
Corresponding with.
So I think they are,
because
but he says he has an affidavit.
No, I hear him say he has a different name on the birth certificate, a different name on the passport, and the name he bears is what it is that he has to tidy up before he comes. He has to tidy up.
Okay, so let me put it this way: if you've changed your name, but you've got the proof that you've changed your name,
that is your name. So you must have a gazette. It must be gazetted. When you change your name, it's not just a statutory declaration. That is it. You must gazette it. Whatever is in the gazette is what we'll use.
Okay.
And it's also important to note that once we capture that information, that's it. That's the information we have, and that's what we use. We have had issues where some people may want to change their ages and their dates of birth because of maybe social security issues. I must advise that it will not happen, because whatever date of birth they bring to NIA, once they have proof that is the date, we will capture it. But whatever date of birth is at SNIT, which they gave to SNIT, SNIT would hold on to that date of birth because it has financial implications. They may have to go to court to address 6 issues, but whatever date of birth they bring to us and it's legitimate, we accept that date.
Okay, so if you've changed, if there's a mistake, whatever, and you've changed your name, the affidavit is not enough. You must have gazetted it,
yes,
and you bring a copy of the gazette.
And the national ID has a column for previous name.
Okay.
So if you had a previous name, it will not be dropped. That previous name would be captured because your gazette would tell us which name you have changed. So that information about people, so ladies who have changed their names will have their maiden names there. Persons who have generally changed their names also have their names showing on the card.
Okay, so where your passport shows your full name.
Yes.
Okay, so that means Jesse Yeboah, because Jesse was talking about the fact that his name does not necessarily appear on the identification the way he's referred to now.
Yes. So he must come to us with his name. We want his name. He's talking about confusion on documents. But whichever name he tells us is not what we would accept. It has to be documented. And I'm saying that the legitimate way to change a name is to have a declaration and then you obtain a gazette.
Okay. All right. Let's quickly see if we can read some of the messages.
Some other questions were asked about. It was also a birth certificate related matter where a father's name was changed, etc. The information we need from you must be an information that is accurate, that is true, to the best of your knowledge. Because the forms you would fill has a portion that says that you need to provide accurate information. Failure to do that, if found out, you'll be prosecuted. So it lies on whoever is coming to us to be truthful, honest, and candid with us and provide the information that they claim or they have which is true. So if you have a document obtained from the right authority and it is genuine and you bring to us, we'll accept it and attend to it on the basis of its validity.
Okay, let's quickly run through some of the messages. Ghana card, the first day even the parliamentarians had problems. Some have to go and come the following day. We should look at it again. Gilbert is in Takrady saying that even the lawmakers themselves had issues with the registration. This one is Ima Sunyai says about the integration of the DVL, LA, SNIT and others. Then I guess it will be mandatory for me to get registered with those institutions before registering with the NIA.
No.
No, okay.
Now, the portion that deals with the institutional IDs, it is only mandatory to bring it if it applies to you. So a young person of 14 years cannot have a driver's license or a voter ID. So that column wouldn't apply to the child. But for those who qualify and have those documents, you present them. So it's not a mandatory column. It's only mandatory when it applies to you.
Okay. This one says, do you have to travel to your hometown to do the registration, or wherever you are is okay?
Wherever you are is
okay. Gamo.
You can register anywhere.
Okay. Roger Amanovi says, I just got the impression that the Ghana card can serve as a visa to all the West African countries. Has ECOWAS given any directive in this effect?
Yes.
Will there also be any ECOWAS symbol on this Ghana card to show that it will be legally accepted in all these countries?
Yes.
Roger Amanovi Tajewu, you said yes to all.
Yes to all.
Okay, all right. This one says, I just want to know if I lost my passport, but I know my number. Can I still be accepted?
The number is not enough. You need to bring the passport. We need to see the passport. Otherwise, you need to go get a new passport.
This one says, I'm a Ghanaian in Nigeria. How can we apply? It's from Aziz.
We plan by the 7th month of this exercise, we'll start working with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration on having registration conducted at the various missions. When that time comes, the missions would help us communicate with nationals in those countries to get themselves ready to be registered. So we would come to the missions and have registrations done in the missions, not only for mission staff, but Ghanaians living there.
Okay, somebody's asking, somebody says, I don't have the TIN number. In my village, they don't know what it is.
Yes. If you don't have the TIN number, we will not prevent you from registering.
Oh, okay. All right, we have to end it here because time is not our friend, and we've got lots of messages. I don't even know which one to read in wrapping up this conversation. But what I can say, you said it's not time for all of us yet, so there will be a timetable, and I guess there will be enough time
to educate and inform.
Yeah, okay. So this one says, I'm in Togo. Can Ghanaians outside also register? You got your answer just a while ago. A very last one. This one says, really enlightened with this card thing this morning. And I think that myself, I'm getting a lot of clarity this morning with the conversation. This one says, can we use the old sheets given us during the first registration?
No, you can use the slip. No.
Oh, okay. All right.
Once we did not issue the card, the slip will not be enough.
Okay. All right. So we have to end the conversation here. We wait to see your timetable, and then we'll all get ready to do the registration.
We'll provide it in due course.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here in the studio. And that's the acting Public Affairs Director at the National Identification Authority, Francis Pamdeti. It's all about Russia 2018 from now till we wrap up, kind of, here on the AM show. So stay with us. We'll all gather and have that World Cup conversation.